Have you ever talked to someone and all they can seem to talk about is their own damn problems? Well, I certainly have, and I think most of us probably have as well, and it gets old pretty damn fast. These people are what I like to call energy vampires, and I've had quite a few of them pop up in my life, and I never really knew how to deal with them until just recently. Let me explain. I used to be friends with this person. Let's just call her F. F would message me after school almost all the time to ask me how my day was and all those common courtesies before beginning to talk about her own problems, and the conversation almost always devolved into her problems. Now, I thought I was being a righteous friend by listening and offering advice every single time, but unbeknownst to me, I was just falling victim to an energy vampire. It was a common occurrence for F not to just talk about her problems, but to nag about her problems constantly. And I would try to give good, genuine advice, and she'd seem to receive it, but come back the next day with the same BS. Look, I don't blame F for having her problems, but there's a crucial level of introspectiveness and self awareness that you need to have to realize that if you're always dumping your emotional baggage on people, you're driving them away. Which, by the way, was one of the things that F would constantly complain to me about, that her friends were always betraying her and turning their backs on her. And near the end of all of this, I would just think to myself, like, I don't blame her friends. Now, there's no inherent problem with venting about your problems to a friend. That's perfectly fine. But I think the problem arises when people like F try to put themselves on the moral high ground and act like some sort of martyr. F would place herself on this moral high ground and act like a martyr by saying she prioritized other people's happiness over others, which I think she actually genuinely believed, but she so ironically failed to realize she had just been shoving her emotional baggage down other people's throats for the bulk of her high school years. The general thing I'd always hear from F is something like, I don't get why people don't like me. I'm just trying to make people happy. And I genuinely think she didn't understand that consequences of her actions. Another thing I've noticed about energy vampires is they absolutely love drama. For example, F was almost always in some kind of drama, always beefing with friends or just with other people for the most mundane reasons. It was a pretty vicious cycle, to be honest. Now, what did I do? I'm an idiot. I acted like F's personal therapist for the better part of my sophomore high school year. And what did that result in? Ending every conversation feeling like absolute crap because I ran out of ways to say, that sucks, or I'm sorry about that. And I had long ago run out of advice to give. And this isn't a point to prove how much of a martyr I am. It's a point to try and prove how much of an adverse effect these people can have on your life if you really let them bog you down like that. In fact, I'm pretty sure the only reason she's out of my life right now is because something crazy actually happened that forced me, who had low confidence and no guts at the time, to actually cut her off. I'm not going to go into detail on what happened, but essentially I sent F a very mean message and blocked her and cut her out of my life, basically. Now, was this the best choice on my part? Probably not, but was it a good choice nonetheless? I think so. You see, the only real way to deal with these kinds of people's BS is just to call it out as soon as you see it. You can try the slow, gradual approach where you just slowly withdraw, you just back away over time. But I think you really just extend the situation much longer than it needs to be, and you end up hurting yourself more. And to be honest with you, I think I got pretty lucky. I've seen cases where the person literally threatens suicide because the other person doesn't want to put up with their bullshit. It's honestly so manipulative. It is just so trashy, and it's an undesirable trait of a low quality person. If you have a person like F in your life, you are not obligated to be their unpaid therapist. You are not obligated to console them and to give them advice if you so choose. And you are definitely not obligated to be their hero to rescue them from their sorrow, because the sad fact is they'd rather wallow in the validation of victimhood than actually try and get better. So stop letting these people drain your energy. Reserve it for yourself because you deserve it. If this video motivated you to cut an energy vampire out of your life, I hope I can motivate you to drop a bomb-ass comment and subscribe. Anyway, guys, bless up. I'll see you in the next one.